you don't want me to very long, so I asked Corey to write my speech for me this evening. Just kidding, Corey. That's the last time I'll do that to you. I do have just a couple of things that I want to share. This is definitely a class that has accomplished a number of things. They've been recounted time and time and time again by both your speakers as well as Mrs. Meyer. There are some special things that I remember about the class because there's some special people in this class that have meant a lot to me in various different ways. I guess in the last 5 years, most of you either do or don't know, but I turned 50. When you turn 50, you become a little more philosophical than you had been on the way up to 50 because you know you're on your way down at that point. That's not good, but I'm still enjoying being alive and walking around and healthy at this juncture, so I guess I'll stick with it. There are three kinds of people in the world. The first one I classify as the very mean people, and you're going to find some of those people when you get out into the real world. They're so busy feeling sorry for themselves and being angry with themselves and wanting to make other people feel just like them that I suggest that you find out who they are as quickly as possible and distance yourself from them. Luckily, it's a small group of people that fall into that category. There are very nice people in the world. And ironically, that's the largest class of people that I've come in contact with in my 50 years that I've been on the face of this earth. You will find them, you will enjoy them, and some of them will become what I call the third class of people, friends. 30 years ago, I came to this community in 1966 and started my teaching career at Lodi High School. And I carried with me some baggage from college called debts. I borrowed a lot of money to go to school because my parents didn't have a lot to start with, and my father died when I was a freshman in college, had no insurance, and had nothing. So from there on, it was up to me and my mother if I was going to get through. When I got here in this community, I ran into a man who became a very close friend. He gave me a job, he gave me a place to work, pay off my debts, and in the process became a very close friend. This past year, I lost my friend. Some of you know him as Abe, Leon Abraham. And in this class are two of his grandchildren. And I know I speak for Abe, since he's not here tonight, that no one could be more proud of Jennifer Kelly, who is a graduate in this class, and Stephen, who is also a grandson in this class. And to both of them, I want to say thank you for being part of my life. And I want you to know that when you find friends and you lose them, it hurts. And in this class, there are a lot of friendships. And hopefully, there will be no losses. Next, I found that if you give hugs, you get a hug in return. And sometimes you get many hugs in return. 2 years ago, I stood here at this podium and I delivered a speech. And to be truthful, like all of the speeches, probably they will not be remembered very long after they're given. But that evening I went home, I sat down, and my peaceful evening was interrupted with a phone call that told me that 2 of my students had been involved in a car accident. And the sound of the helicopter overhead made me know that it was not going to be a nice situation. I was informed who they were, what the situation was, and that one of them was in very serious condition. I didn't know the young lady very well at that particular point in time, to be truthful. I knew her family, I knew her sister, and I also knew her brother, I knew her father, and I knew her family in terms of extended family as well. I decided in the next week or so that I needed to go down to the hospital and to visit her. I took along a little present, and I was standing there, and her jaw was wired shut, and she could barely talk. And I talked and conversed with her mom, and as I was getting ready to leave, she mumbled something which I couldn't understand very well, and her mom said she wants a hug. And so I gave her a hug, and I've gotten a lot of hugs since, and I'm going to get one more tonight before I leave. Leah Brisky, thank you for giving me all those hugs back after I gave you the first one. Last, there is no earthly reason in today's world why anyone would want to be an administrator or a teacher in public schools, save one, okay? And I told you about a week ago that there's a difference between being a graduating class and graduating with class. I can truthfully say to this community and to this group of young people, these are a group of graduates with class. They have always demonstrated it, they've always shown it, they will always be a class with class. And before I leave this evening, I want to wish you well, like everyone else. May all your days be happy ones, and may all the people that you run into either be nice people or friends. And Leah Brisky, I want one more hug before I leave tonight. Or are you?
Today we graduate 83 seniors from Lodi High School, and each person, in their own way, has unique talents, interests, and abilities. Together, they have been a class that has set a new standard of excellence for Lodi High School, and I would like to congratulate all of you for that. To the members of the Board of Education, I reviewed the records of this class, and I certify that these students have met the attendance and credit requirements of this school district. As principal of Lodi High School, I present to you the class of 1996 to receive their diplomas.
Class of 1996, congratulations to all of you for the successful completion of 13 years of education. You may be celebrating the end of school, but it'll not be the end of learning for you. You've heard many times that you need to become lifelong learners. Our hope is that your 13 years in the Lodi school system has prepared you with the skills and knowledge to further your learning process. We are proud of you and wish you the very best in your future endeavors. I'd like to share with you some remarks made by Marion Wright Edelman of the Children's Defense Fund and also the organizer of the March for Children in Washington, D.C. that'll take place tomorrow. Here are some of her rules to live by in the 90s. Number 1, there is no free lunch. Don't feel entitled to anything you don't sweat and struggle for. Young people have got to work their way up hard and continuously. So we adults need to teach by example, not to be lazy, to do our work well, to pay attention to detail, to take care and pride in our work, and to be reliable, and to value ethical behavior. Number 2, set goals and work quietly and systematically toward them. Resist quick fix, simplistic answers, and easy gains which may often disappear just as quickly as they come. Number 3, never work just for money. Money alone won't save your soul, or build a decent family, or help you sleep at night. Don't confuse wealth or fame with character. And 4, don't be afraid of taking risks or of being criticized. Don't be afraid of failing. It's the way you learn to do things right. There's a Japanese proverb that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. And 5th, and lastly, don't believe that the most important thing in our lives is to be happy. The most important thing is to be useful, to be responsible, to be compassionate, It is, above all, to matter, to count, to stand for something, to have made some difference, that you have lived it all. And that is what we wish for you, the class of 1996. And now, on behalf of the Board of Education, I am pleased to accept this group of young people as having completed a course of study at Lodi High School and confer upon them a diploma signifying that fact.